Join me in welcoming Tricia Wood Thomas. Hey, Tricia, how you doing?
I'm fine, Steve. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing really good, thanks. So, welcome back. Another book for you. This one is called 12 Steps to Journaling for Caregivers. But before we get started talking about the book, tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Well, with me, my dad, Hubert Wood, passed away with Alzheimer's, dementia Alzheimer's, and he was the one that inspired me to write this journal. And but all the that we went through, my family, my mom, and I, as primary caregivers of my dad, and just wanting to know information about my dad and what he was doing, just with Alzheimer's, what he was going through. And as a caregiver, you need to be able to uh, have information because you don't know. As a caregiver, it's very hard to know, much less it's awful to see your loved one go through that, but to not know what to do as a caregiver and how, because it really takes a toll on the person taking care of the loved one. It takes a toll on them, and their health, their mental status. And so I've written this journal so that it really helps the caregiver. So that's why I started doing pageants in the United States pageant system, to be able to talk about my platform and help and have a. It's really, pageants are an avenue and a platform to get out there in the community and say what you want to say. And so through the Alzheimer's, helping my dad with the early caregiver, the early warning signs, and being a caregiver, I was able to do the pageants and use that as a platform to do my public speaking and the work that I want to do and serve the community like I wanted to serve.
Absolutely. And as the sash is saying, you are again the current Mrs. Louisiana. Um,
Yes, I
how many times have you
very.
won Mrs. Louisiana now?
This is my fourth time to be Mrs. Louisiana. So I am very excited to come back and represent again with the United States pageant system. So it's a great pageant system. Tony Alankwa is the owner, and his late mother, Isabella Alankwa, she recently passed away last year. And it's been very hard for all of us when being in this pageant system. I feel like I'm a part of their family, and that's exactly what the United States pageant system is. When you are in that system, you are part of a family. And I've just stayed in it, and now it's 4 years, and I can't believe it. And I'm so humbled to be a part of the system and love each and every one of them so much. It's just a humbling experience to get out and to be a part of an organization that wants to serve the community. That's what United States pageant system is about. It's not about a crown and a sash. It is, but that's a platform to be able to say what we want to say. And the great thing about the national system, but the United States national system, is that they allow each contestant to talk about their own avenue of what their own work and their service. So mine is, Alzheimer's. So in the early warning signs and helping caregivers. But another contestant may have childhood cancer or drug trafficking or human trafficking. And so it's a great pageant system that allows people to be able to talk about their own work and their own service. And that is exactly why I got into this, is so that I could help honor my dad and his legacy through helping others. And this pageant system is definitely an avenue that has led me to do that for 4 years. And that's why I'm still in it and love them so much.
I love that. And have you been Mrs. United States once or twice now?
I have never won the United States title, so hopefully, fingers crossed. And if it's God's will, I will win. Hopefully, this time we have October 18th. We'll start the week, that whole week through the 22nd. The United States National Pageant System will be going on, and so I'll be in that. representing Louisiana. So we're hoping I'll bring home the crown this time. I really hope so. And, but even if I don't, I've done a great job and been able to talk about my work and my service and getting those early warning signs out there to people, and to be able to write, the first book I did was a recipe book that I just did as a tribute to my dad and his healthy choice eating, and not so healthy choice eating. We kind of did a both, but it was his favorite recipes, and I did that for him. And then this journal, to be able to put this journal out and talk about the 12 steps of being a caregiver, because being a caregiver I ran into so many people along the way, Steve, that came to me and they were like, what do I do with my father? Or what do I do with my mother? I'm having trouble. It's very hard. What do I do? How do I do this? What do I do that? And we knew all the little things that they could do and help. And I didn't know everything. And certainly I'm not a know-it-all of everything, but I had been through it enough that I was able to write a journal. And I found the 12 steps of being a caregiver. I found that. So being able to find that was on a level of, wait, I need to put this into a journal and make this into it. So it's really a workbook journal that they can take this one day in this step and work through that step. And they may be on that step for a day. They may be on it for a month. They may be on it for 6 months, just to get through that step. And it really is, how am I feeling today? Not realizing that their parent or their loved one, to not let that get them down. You have, because they're sick, and you have to take care of yourself when you're a caregiver. I mean, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your loved one. And that's where caregivers tend to fall, when they're doing that. So
Absolutely. So they have to get the book in order to get all 12 steps, but maybe you can tell us, what's step one? Where do we start when we begin to actually start taking care of ourselves as caregivers?
I think step one is, one of the, I can't remember if this is actually step one or step two, but the first, one of the first steps is knowing that what's happening to your loved one, accepting it is just accepting it, right? Because even if someone passes away, when my dad passed away, we had to accept that he passed away. The grief is so hard. And when someone gets Alzheimer's, there definitely is a level of, I've got to accept this, and the acceptance of the Alzheimer's for your loved one, and knowing that it's not your fault. It's just something they've got it. We've got to accept it. We've got to learn how to deal with it. And I think that's where people really fall short, is they beat themselves up about it. And we try to help people not to beat yourself down. You've got to turn to God. I'm a Christian person, and I'm saved, and I believe in turning to God. And I tell everyone I come across that's a caregiver is, God has got his arms around you. Just pretend like he's hugging you every day, because you, as a caregiver, you get, it's lonely. I mean, that some of the loved ones can't talk back to you. They're, and when they do, it's just, they repeat the same thing. It's repetitive. It's exhausting. So to be a caregiver, it's a lot of strain on a person. And, I really hope and prayed about it. And I really hope that this journal helps others get through being a caregiver and come out on the other end and just be okay.
Help us have a little bit of an understanding of what it looks like to, get to the other side. You said you hope that it helps them get to the other end. What does that look like for people?
And it looks like different things for different people. Some people can have Alzheimer's for 10 years, and it's a lot on a caregiver. My dad, once he was diagnosed, he had it for about 2 years, and he just kept fading and fading. And then when he passed away, and I guess that's what I'm talking about, the other end, because There is no cure for Alzheimer's right now. It's so sad, and there is no cure. And I wish there was a cure. I could sit here and say there's a cure. There are drugs out there that help keep you prolong it, and where you can uh, be okay with it longer. You can remember more, like Numenda and some of the others. But as far as um, a cure, no, there's not. So when it's all said and done, and at the end of the day, and it was so sad because I miss my dad so much. It's very sad, and but I have to tell you, it's not easy, and it's sad because you see them fade and fade and fade because but the workbook journal that I've created and those 12 steps really walks people through all of it from the beginning to the end. And they'll just have to get the journal and and look at it, and it is kind of neat to go through the 12 steps. It really does help if you're a caregiver. It really does. If you're not a caregiver, but if you know a caregiver, this would be a great book to share with them.
Absolutely. And it applies for people. I mean, obviously, if you're helping somebody with Alzheimer's, but lots of different caregiving. I mean, taking care of little children, all of the different elements that can come into giving care to other people. It's a really effective method, journal, and book to be able to really help you through that. So, for people who want to, get the journal, I'm going to put the link here in so that people can get the journal. It's free today, actually, on Amazon. But for people who want to get deeper involved in the Alzheimer's community and helping out and those kind of things, what can they do beyond that?
We have, I don't, for anyone that's watching this all over the United States, the Alzheimer's Association is in every state, and most every town has an Alzheimer's Association. I would say to reach out to your hometown, see if there's one in your hometown. If there's not, there may be one near your hometown. Get involved, get involved in walks. There's Alzheimer's walks. I have one coming up this month, September 30th, here in Covington, Louisiana, and I'll be walking with them. And we do this every year, and they do it all over the United States in different months. It just varies on the organization, but it is a great thing to get involved in the walks. There's other avenues as well, but our walks are our biggest fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Association. So I would say to reach out to your local Alzheimer's charity association and get involved in these charities and these events that we raise money, because we raise money for advocacy and research, which is so important. I'm an ambassador and a state champion speaker, and I go to Washington, D.C. every year, and we're always looking for advocates. So through that, could be an advocate and go to Washington, D.C. and lobby with me and with others. And we have lobbyists in every state of the United States. So it's really, there's a lot of ways, and we need all kinds of volunteers, the Alzheimer's Association. There's no limit to anyone volunteering. I mean, it's a great thing, and it's a great thing to get involved in, especially if you have a family member, and it makes you feel closer. It makes you feel like it makes me feel like I'm still doing something. It makes me feel close to my dad. I miss him so much, and getting involved in this Alzheimer's Association, it really made me feel like I was doing something. I wasn't just sitting idle. And Alzheimer's, we're finding out more research, more information about it every day. And that's why it's so important to have these fundraisers and walks. And just like the journal that I do, the monies that go to that will be given to the Alzheimer's Association. So
I love that. The book is called 12 Steps to Journaling for Caregivers by Tricia Wood Thomas. Tricia, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Steve.